So after all that, what is this next month of presidency over the UN Security Council going to look like for the U.S.? Well, here to discuss it with me is Mark Leon Goldberg, managing editor of the UN and Global Affairs blog, UN Dispatch. Mark, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, we just heard Janet Napolitano basically say in this story, our diplomats are just that. They're diplomats, and that's all they do. So is this what diplomats normally do? Do they all spy on each other and take biometric scans and look into credit card accounts?
Well, you know, I don't think it's altogether surprising that the United States, or frankly any country, would be conducting some sort of intelligence gathering operation at the UN. It's happened in the past. In 2003, The Observer reported that the National Security Agency was trying to keep tabs on the debate on the run-up to the Iraq War to try to influence the debate towards the Bush administration's favor. Other countries have certainly spied at the UN in the past, so it's not altogether surprising, I'd say.
It's not right either way, though, I guess you could say. But is that why? I mean, because if we look at the UN, I feel like their response so far has been very muted. I mean, we saw that Belgium really was the only country that spoke out here and, you know, had some harsh words. So why is nobody talking about this?
Well, the spokesman for the Secretary General did make the point that, you know, there are several international treaties to which the United States has ratified that prohibit this kind of activity at the UN. At the same time, as I said, it's not that surprising that this would happen.
But can there be some kind of, you know, repercussions if they broke those treaties since they actually broke the law?
Probably not, to be fair.
Because it's America? Because they have so much power at the UN?
Well, because there's no one that could really do the punishing. It's not like the UN would kick the United States out. You know, the U.S. needs the UN needs the United States. Frankly, what's most interesting about these cables is what it says about American priorities at the UN. You know, top on the list was Darfur, was frankly the Secretary of State asking American diplomats to figure out how to make the peacekeeping mission in Darfur more effective, asking which countries might have military assets that they could lend to the mission in Darfur. I mean, that was #1 on the list. If you look at what the U.S. is spying or collecting intelligence on, frankly, they're towards relatively laudable goals. Another one is taking a look at trying to prevent the Zimbabwean government of Robert Mugabe from achieving any sort of position of influence at the UN. So frankly, the goals, the intentions are by and large correct. Not all, but many.
I mean, yeah, you could say that in trying to monitor people and how they're going to vote on sanctions on Iran, that's not necessarily a laudable, well, I mean, who knows?
It's true.
But, you know, there definitely is room for debate there. But still, do they have to do this by taking biometric scans, getting, you know, DNA, fingerprints, iris scans?
Frankly,
that seems a little bit over the top.
It's bizarre, and if you look at the people for whom they've authorized this sort of intelligence collecting apparatus, a lot of them include, frankly, Americans. Plenty of Americans serve at top ranks at the UN and UN agencies. You know, the former National Security Advisor to Bill Clinton is the head of UNICEF. A former top-ranking State Department official is the head of the World Food Program. Lots of American officials occupy top ranks at the United Nations. So the optics of this are certainly kind of bizarre, I'd say.
But do you think that this is going to affect, now that the U.S. has taken, you know, this revolving control of presidency at the UN Security Council, is it going to be addressed at all? Is it going to give them a hard time?
I really don't think so. You know, the American priorities at the UN are not going to change because of these leaks. You know, there's still going to be this upcoming vote in South Sudan. That's going to be top of the list. North Korea is going to occupy some time at the Security Council this month. Those top priorities aren't going to change because of this leaked.
But do you think by perhaps not really being so critical of it, then more people are going to become critical of the UN? Again, we have the discussion of, you know, does the UN even do anything, or do they just let the U.S. walk all over them?
Well, you know, it's sort of a symbiotic relationship between the United States and the United Nations. You know, what you can see clearly from this document is that the United States looks to the UN to add value to its own foreign policy priorities, like Darfur, like Sudan, like, you know, Sri Lanka. But, you know, the UN also relies on the U.S. for its diplomatic and political support and also financial support. So it's not, I think, one or the other.
Really?
Yeah. Really?
I think that probably not everybody out there would respond that way. But let's look at the last time, right? You mentioned this isn't the first time that the U.S. has been caught spying.
This is true.
Was the reaction so muted last time as well? Or was there more shock?
Well, again, you know, it's not like the UN could have done anything. You know, the Security Council voted as it did in the run-up to the Iraq War. There was sort of shock that the U.S. might be spying on Kofi Annan, but it wasn't sort of that, I think, unexpected. It shouldn't have been all that unexpected.
Well, you can do something by at least speaking up, giving a speech about it, right? That's what they do there. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.